Hi there, good morning. No, I am not in Greece. This is Sidi Bou Said. This is where I'm staying. Hotel Sidi Bou Ferris, right down here. This is a small town by the sea, the Gulf of Tunis, about a 25-minute or so drive from Tunis, the capital of Tunisia. So this is my hotel. Very nice place. Great inner courtyard there. And so I'm now going to head over to Carthage. Carthage was an ancient Phoenician city founded in the 9th century BC, almost 3,000 years ago. Which was then destroyed by the Romans in the 2nd century BC, before the height of the Roman power. There were battles on the Mediterranean between the Phoenicians and the Greeks and the Sicilians, resulting in the 3 Punic Wars, and the Romans won the 3rd one and took over, and of course then spread all throughout North Africa. And so it was a Roman city until it was destroyed by the Arab invasion in the 7th century AD. And so twice the city was basically completely and utterly demolished by the Romans and then rebuilt, and then by the Arabs and not rebuilt. And so the remains now of the ancient city are very little of what originally existed there, which I'm sure has been restored to some extent. So I'm looking forward to another tour of a Roman city, one of the most fascinating phases of history. I am always interested in seeing another Roman place and the style and how it compares to other Roman cities that I've seen in the past. So let's try to get a taxi. Taxi! Taxi! Salam. Carthage, Bursa Hill? Bursa? Carthage, ancient archaeology? Got some Tunisian dinar here. So the taxi driver didn't seem to understand that I wanted to go to Bursa Hill. That is one of the sights to see of the Carthage ancient city. Various sites are scattered around this area, and so he was kind of going the wrong way. It's up here, and so I told him to just stop, and then I guess this is the walkway. I kind of got lost there behind the supermarket, and then it should be a couple minutes walk up here. Okay, we have a little taste of the ancient city. I wonder if these are actual remnants from the city. Seems a little unlikely that they would be right here, but at least it must be in the style, probably the Roman versus the Phoenician, because that is so much older, and it was all destroyed. So hopefully we'll be seeing more mosaics. It looks like we're in the right place. It does not look busy. Wow, look at this. I was not expecting to come across a palace, obviously not from the Roman era. Looks like probably an Arabic style palace, mansion, whatever. Wow. What the heck is this thing? Maybe it's a church, like French built. I think that might be a cross there. Maybe not. Let's find out. Tickets?
English. Where from?
America, English,
welcome,
yes.
welcome.
Thank you very much.
The Catholic Church.
It's a Catholic church,
But
okay.
1884, but it's closed for renovation.
I see,
It's
okay.
very old.
But Carthage is open. The
Yes,
Bursa.
you have ticket?
I don't have ticket.
You can buy ticket in museum. You can, with the same ticket, you can look in many places on the same ticket.
That's what I thought. And so I buy the ticket just over here?
The museum here.
Okay.
You buy ticket, you can look in many places on the same ticket.
Yes, understand.
Can look after myself, after.
We'll see. We'll see.
After museum.
Now I go inside.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep. And so it is definitely looking very Roman, and yet in its own style. I can't help but wonder if that is something recreated more recently. Not sure, but it just does not look 1300 years old. That part, like maybe that was filled in between the columns to kind of give the impression or something, not sure about that. But obviously the classic old Roman columns and fountain. A lion's head perhaps, or and so yes, that is indeed a church, a Catholic church. Must have been built by the French. Quite spectacular. So I'm going to read some history here as I walk along and show things from Wikipedia. Carthage was a settlement in modern Tunisia that later became a city-state and then an empire. Founded by the Phoenicians in the 9th century BC, it was destroyed by the Romans in 146 BC, who later rebuilt the city lavishly. At its height in the 4th century BC, so this is before the Romans, Carthage was one of the largest metropolises in the world and the center of the Carthaginian Empire, a major power in the ancient world that dominated the Western Mediterranean. But of course, these ruins are not of the Phoenician Carthaginian Empire, but the Romans. And there is Tunis, the capital of Tunisia. What a sight, spreading all around this bay, or gulf rather, the Gulf of Tunis. Or I guess that is the Gulf, and that is maybe the lake. So a few interesting facts here. The common languages were Punic, Phoenician, Berber, Numidian. So the Berber tribes are here still, of course. Although, you know, intermixed with Arabic and other cultures of the past. And so the city was initially founded in 814 BC, gained independence from Tyre in 650 BC, and then destroyed by the Roman Republic in the Third Punic War in 146 BC. Carthage was settled around 814 BC by colonists from Tyre a leading Phoenician city-state located in present-day Lebanon. So that's quite interesting. Kind of like, the British going to America and founding the colonies, and then the colonies decided they wanted to be free and revolted against the British. So the Carthaginians revolted against those who founded the city, their fellow Tyrrhenians. In the 7th century BC, following Phoenicia's conquest by the Neo-Assyrian Empire, Carthage became independent, gradually expanding its economic and political hegemony across the Western Mediterranean. So these look like tiny sarcophaguses. So by 300 BC, through its vast patchwork of colonies, vassals, and satellite states, Carthage controlled the largest territory in the region, including the coast of northwest Africa, southern Iberia, Spain, Portugal, and Gibraltar, and the islands of Sicily, Sardinia, Corsica, Malta, and the Balearic Archipelago. Among the ancient world's largest and richest cities, Carthage's strategic location provided access to abundant fertile land and major maritime trade routes. Its extensive mercantile network. So here we have what looks like Latin. And this must be a sarcophagus. Alright, and we're getting just some little hints of the art. That is a cross. Very cool. Its extensive mercantile network reached as far as West Asia, West Africa, and Northern Europe, providing an array of commodities from all over the ancient world, in addition to lucrative exports of agricultural products and manufactured goods. This commercial empire was secured by one of the largest and most powerful navies in the ancient Mediterranean, and an army composed heavily of foreign mercenaries and auxiliaries, particularly Iberians, Balearics. So the Balearic Islands are Ibiza, Majorca, Menorca, Celtic Gauls, Sicilians, Italians, Greeks, Numidians, and Libyans. Okay, we got something pretty amazing over here. But not ancient Roman, I would assume, with that cross. Obviously, that must be Jesus. Wow. Well, it could be, because it was conquered by the Arabs in the 7th century AD, and so maybe it had turned Christian. Wow, that is a trip. It must be, because obviously not created by the Arabs, that's for sure, and definitely too old to have been created by the French. So this must be a Christian Roman statue. Whoa. The Judicial Basilica of Carthage, 2nd century AD. It is one of the largest civilian basilicas in the Roman world, the third just after the Oppian Basilica and the Basilica Julia of Rome. It defines the eastern side of the Forum, large public square. So here is the Forum, the Basilica, Grand Temple, Public Library, Temple. So, it looks like that is the Basilica. And then the Forum going out from it. So maybe this is it here. And then here you have obviously Latin language, pieces of stone that they found and then just kind of put them together randomly. And then a very interesting statue here depicting the Roman dress, I guess. Arms knocked off. Okay, what have we got on this sign? Looks like French. 1774. And another sarcophagus. And this must be a French-built statue. Maybe a French king. All right, well, so far, very, very interesting, but there is more to see. This is just one of the sites. The Hannibal district, 2nd century to 146 BC. So that is when the Romans conquered. This housing district was built in the early 2nd century BC, I guess here. So referencing the Phoenician Empire, built, I guess, around, 50 years or so before the Romans invaded and won the Punic Wars. So the entry ticket was 12 dinars, which I bought at the other site. That is $4, and it includes all of the various sites in the Carthage area. So this will be a quick stop. This is it. But this is a Phoenician children's cemetery. So pre-Roman. Not a lot to see, but some very old and unique history. And so I got a taxi from the Birsa Hill over here. It is just 6 dinars for like 2 kilometers. That is $2. The taxi driver is really nice, and he's going to take me to the next location. And then some more scattered ruins here. So this is the ancient harbor, and this also was Phoenician. So these are the only two remaining Phoenician sites, the children's cemetery and the old harbor. Now, does that mean that these columns are Phoenician? I mean, they look like quite a similar style to the Roman, but perhaps a true historian would disagree. This is especially interesting. Is this where the boats would come in? Seems like it. Except for the wall in the way, but maybe that is more recent. Definitely different construction here. This looks more recent actually, but who knows? So here you can see the harbor going into the Mediterranean.
Yes, yes.
Gulf of Tunis.
Before, in documentary, with internet, it's big life, friend. Big life before the Roman time, huh?
Yes, it was a big city. Important empire, yeah, the Phoenician.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because this harbor is two, c'est-à-dire one army and one commercial.
Army and commercial.
Yes,
okay, I see. Yeah.
This is auto school.
Driving school. This is
Driving school, but why?
They don't know how to drive.
Why you stop inside?
Yeah.
You don't understand why.
Now we know. He has excuse. Student.
Difficult with my vehicle.
Yeah. The Antoninian Baths, or the Baths of Antoninus. You are here. And so, looks like that was the entirety of the city of Carthage, the amphitheater. Looks like that must be the racetrack, the harbor. The Baths of Antoninus, or Baths of Carthage, located in Carthage, Tunisia, are the largest set of Roman thermae built on the African continent, and one of the three largest built in the Roman Empire. They are the largest outside mainland Italy. The baths are also the only remaining thermae of Carthage that dates back to the Roman Empire's era. The baths were built during the reign of Roman Emperor Antoninus Pius in 145 to 162. And according to my taxi driver Mohammed, this is the most interesting site of Carthage. Let's find out why. Punic necropolis. And so Punic refers to the Phoenicians. So I guess this is also some remains of the Phoenician Empire. And another Punic or Phoenician relic funerary chamber. 6th to 5th century BC, a tomb dug and built underground. And we have a mosaic. All right. Looks like just designs, no images of animals or people or... Okay, I am wrong. There we go. You turn it upside down and maybe angels. Anyways, children it looks like. Wow. Impressive how colorful it is. Built with stones. Naturally that color, so that the color lasts. Three-naved Christian basilica, paved with mosaics. It includes rooms among which a baptistry and chapel, 6th century AD. So that answers the question about the statue of the man with the cross, the man, and then obviously a smaller statue of Jesus on the chest of that big statue up there, that the city was indeed Christian in its later history. So that is just really fascinating. And so the other sign states that it was Byzantine. So the Byzantines were the later civilization of the Romans and the Greeks. And as mentioned in the list of languages, Greek was one of the languages, and so see Byzantine, Basilica. So which language did they speak? Was it more Latin or Greek? Let's check the mosaics. Is there anything left of them? Doesn't look like it. Maybe they were removed. Oh, here we go. Not much left, but a little glimpse into the colorful floor that would have been here. The Antoninian Baths. So we haven't actually seen the baths yet. There they are, right by the sea. The modern tradition retains almost unanimously the name of Antoninian Baths in reference to the Emperor Antoninus the Pious 138 to 161. And so that must be AD, the way that the dates are going there, who would have contributed to their implementation. The inauguration of the complex dates from the year 157 or 159, and its completion took place in 162. And they are indeed spectacular and relatively intact. Here they are. Incredible. And it looks like you can walk through them. So we have a mosaic here, quite faded. Hard to tell what it is. This is the Roman villa. Another mosaic. Seems to be mostly designs and symbols. And more inside, it looks like. Whoa. A lot more. It is nice and cool in here, but it is getting ridiculously hot outside. And here we have the amphitheater. Like the Colosseum.
Parce que jusqu'à maintenant, tous les fêtes-là, c'est pour les kermesses pour les deux ans. Ah bon? Venez voir de ce côté-là, on va faire le tour.